Welcome to my tutorial, and in this tutorial I will be discussing it's a very lengthy tutorial. I mean to say I will be going from different series divided into different sections. So what is the topic of discussion? The topic of discussion of this tutorial is I'm gonna show you how to create an app using Kotlin programming language. I'm gonna use Android 13, okay, because it's a very latest. I'm gonna use the latest software development kit for Android development using an Kotlin programming language. And Yeah, in the beginning I'm gonna teach about the foundation, but then we will be slowly going through what's the advanced concept. But I want to go it slowly and step by step so that you will be understanding. And please follow my tutorial if you really like it. And we will create our first initial app from scratch, and then we will know how learn how the techniques of like the tooling provided by Android Studio. I mean the techniques needed. We will learn how to set up your virtual device, run our app, and many more. And also like finally we will also know how to publish our app, okay, in the entire tutorial. I mean like in the series of tutorials, so I will be divided into different sections. So in this initial introduction section of my tutorial, I'm going to discuss about the foundation. And in this foundation tutorial I'm gonna create our first simple Android app from scratch. And then I will also the first thing is I will teach you how to create a first app from scratch, and the second thing I'm going to teach you is how to set up virtual device and run your app. Okay, so please, if you like, just follow my series, because in my series I will be discussing from simple basic to the advanced until you publish your app, and entirely the app is written in Kotlin. So I hope that you will like it. And so let's not waste our time and let's move on. Okay, so we will set up our environment and focus on the fundamental of Android development. So the main objective of the course will be that you will learn how to install, create any app from scratch and run it in the virtual device. So before that, let's understand what is Android. Okay, and if you are also beginners, please follow my series, and at of the series of the lectures you will be a professional Android developer. Okay, and okay, what is Android? Android is the most widely used mobile phone operating system in the world, with over almost like more than 3 billion active devices. So this presents us a great opportunity, like, right, for us to be part of this big global like network, and for the development, so if you are new to Android, so and if you are you have no knowledge, you don't need to worry, because we will be learning each and every concepts in detail. Okay, so if you want to be productive, I suggest you to follow the courses. So because we'll be learning the tooling and development in tooling of the development environment, and we'll also explore a lot of cool fundamental practices you need to know follow to build Android device applications, right? And yes, so as you can see here in the in this tutorial, like I have the first thing is like I'm gonna use Android Studio for as you can see here, the welcome to Android Studio. And we're gonna create an Android project with Android Studio. So what is Android Studio actually? Okay, so the Android Studio is like the official integrated development environment, or IDE in the short form, so which is used for Android development, and it's built on JetBrains IntelliJ IDE. So it is built pretty much on JetBrains IntelliJ IDE, because JetBrains also has its own IntelliJ IDE, right? So but there is a collaboration done by Android Studio team at Google and JetBrains team, so they collaborated to make Android Studio. Okay, so this is the fundamentals. And since Google I/O 2017, Kotlin is the most preferred programming language for Android application development. So that's why we are using Kotlin. Kotlin's is more preferred than Java because in terms of many things like verbosity, because you don't need to write a lot of code in Kotlin. You can write like few codes, like for example in data class you don't need to write all those extra methods, right? And handling the null types, nullability checking, and adding more functional programming techniques. Okay, so these are the reasons why Kotlin is more preferred. Okay, and we will be using Kotlin as a programming language in our entire tutorial. Okay, so let's use our template driven approach. So I'm using a template driven approach. That means I'm using just what you need to do. You open your Android Studio, you do all the setup for necessary for Android Studio. Then you have this screen, welcome screen of Android Studio. Then you need to click new project. So I'm gonna teach you how to create a new project. So I'm gonna teach you the template driven approach. So what is a template driven approach? As you can see here, there are templates for warehouse, Android TV, automotive, phone and tablet. So you need to select phone and tablet. Then the second thing is you have a lot of templates here, right? So actually templates different approach will enable you to create a basic project in the very short time. So that means while setting up the building blocks you can use to develop your you can easily develop your app. So it's pretty much easy to set up your project, right, using this template driven approach. So what we are going to do, we are going to select a basic activity here, and then we are going to go next. Okay, so upon next, now you will see this another window of a new project. So what this window is about, this windows consist of a lot of uh, uh, a form like a view to fill up a lot of things, right? Like a name. So name is the name of your Android project. So this name will appear as a default name of your app when it's installed on the phone, and is also visible on the Google Play Store. Okay, so just choose your name as per the task that your application is doing. So for the moment I'm gonna just pretty much write is Android uh, Kotlin tutorial. Okay, so also I can write Kotlin app, simple Kotlin app. And what is the package name? As you can see here, the package name, the package name, this is used, it is like kind of a reverse domain name pattern. Okay, to create a name. So it will be used as an address identifier for source code and assets in your app. So this is it's best to make this name as clear and descriptive, and as closely as aligned with the purpose of your app as possible. So therefore it's probably best to change this to use one and or more sub modules, such as, like you can see here, you are using one or more sub modules like like example and Kotlin app. So I would prefer it also like using my name instead of a, okay, so it will be like pretty much like my domain, and so it's pretty much not considered to use spaces, right? You cannot write a space, like it will give you the error, the character is not allowed. So just avoid the spaces here, and that's it, you have to be careful about. So finally the save location, location is the this is like a this save location is like a local folder on your machine where the app will initially be stored. So this can so for the moment I'm using in this section. So this is my location, and uh, so you can change this in future, so you can probably keep the default or edit it to something different like as per you want, because you can obviously change this in the future if you want to change the location. The default location will vary on your operating system. Okay, so I will suggest also just leave it as it is as a default location. And the next one is the Kotlin as a preferred programming language. It's a Google's preferred language for Android app development. So just defaultly select this Kotlin. And what is the minimum SDK? So depending on which version of Android Studio you have downloaded, the default might be same, okay, or different, depending on the version that you have down of Android Studio you have downloaded. So I suggest you to keep this same. So most of the Android's new features are made backward compatible, so your app will run fine on vast majority of old devices. So however, if you want to target new devices, you should consider raising the minimum API level. So you can raise the minimum API level, if you want to target newer devices, like if you want to raise your minimum, like for example you can raise to 29 or 30, or for the moment it's 24. Or you can, if you want to target all the devices, then you can also raise the least minimum, for the moment let's make it default as 24, because you will see your app will run on approximately 95.4% of devices. So this is already a good choice for us. And that's it. And what is this button of use legacy Android support libraries? So please leave this unchecked, because uh, so if you choose this, you will be using the legacy support Android support libraries. But if you just leave it as it is without choosing this, then you will be using Android X libraries, which are the replacement of the support libraries that were designed to make features on newer versions of Android backward compatible with older versions. But it provides much more than this. Okay, it also contains new Android components like Jetpack, which are the name, as the name suggests, boost your Android app development, and provides a host, like it provides a rich feature. So you want to you rich features for you to develop Android applications, right? As you can see here, using legacy lives will prevent you from using the latest place of services and Jetpack library. So if you use this, you will not be using Jetpack library. So it's better to just click this unchecked. Okay, and so once you have filled all these details and select finish. Okay, and I will just leave it as it, because it's pretty much loading. And after some time, when it will be ready, we will be checking out more. So it's pretty much indexing, so let's wait for a second. So there is a tips of a day about Android Studiology to easily call a Java code for the Kotlin. So as you can see, the Java and Kotlins are interoperable. Uh, so you can also use Java code in your Kotlin applications, but so because they are interoperable. Okay, so now we are configuring the project, and I'm using this template driven approach for creating a simple app, Android app from scratch. It's pretty easy, guys. And okay, for the moment I see a pretty basic activity, and pretty much it's loading. Okay, so okay, it's pretty much ready, guys. So you can just switch on to project level or Android level. Okay, so as you can see here, you have a main activity, and you have created a here also the XML file. It's auto generated, everything is auto generated. Okay, so I want to run this simple activity template, okay, app. And so for to run this application, I have to use I have to set up a virtual device and run my application in my on the virtual device. So I have to first set up the virtual device. You can see here that I have already set up a virtual device, but I want to create a new virtual device, so and set up so that you will know how to set up by yourself. So okay, let's what is a virtual device actually? Okay, so so it's like also a emulator. So um, the emulator, what it does is mimics the hardware and software features and configures and configuration of a real device, so that you don't have the need of running it on the real device. So it mimics your real device. So the benefit of that of using your virtual device is that you can make changes and quickly see them on your desktop while developing your app. So you don't need to switch install it on your physical device and run it. So because you have already a virtual device which mimics your real device, so it makes your app development much faster. So actually, to tell you the truth, virtual device do not have all the features of a real device, but it provides all the features which is mimicked. So that means the okay, so uh, actually it's also suggested you that you run your app on different devices, so that you will know that your application is running and it handles all the device screen sizes. Like different devices has different screen sizes, different software development kit environment, like they are using different tools, and different SDK tools for the so you have to pretty much run on each and every like different configuration of Android device, so that to make sure that your app is pretty much running perfectly on each and every device configuration. So this is a best practice that you have to do. So now let's look at the okay, let's create a device. So to create a device, you pretty much need to go to this button, device manager. You create a device, okay, and you choose one of this you choose one of this device, okay. So but before that I want to also I want to also, okay, let me see something like, so okay, let's create a device. Okay, so let's choose pixel 6 or 7, whichever you want, pixel XL. Let's choose pixel 6, okay, and or pixel XL maybe. And pixels are pretty much developed by Google, so it has the most up-to-date version of Android platform, so that's why we choose pixel. And the second thing that you have to choose is, like, you have to choose the recommended uh, the API levels, as you can see here. Like, I have already downloaded Tiramisu, as you can see here. This Tiramisu like as version 2, uh, which is API level 31 and 32, which are pretty much downloaded. If you want to install this version, the R version, that is API level 30, then you have to click this button here, as you can see here, and it will download your selected API software development kit, okay. So now we have, let's choose tiramisu. The tiramisu name displayed here is the initial code or release name for Android 13. Okay, so select the latest image, system image available. The target column might also show Google Play or Google APIs in the name. So you can also see here the Google API levels here. Mm, is 33, Android uh, is 13.0. You can see here Google API means that the system image comes pre-installed with Google Play services. Okay, Google APIs, as you can see here, this means that the system image comes pre-installed with Google Play services. So this is a rich feature set of Google API and Google apps that your app can use and interact with. For example, your when you create this virtual device, your virtual device will already see the apps such as Maps, Google Chrome, right? You know, it's already set up in the emulator image so that you can use it for multiple purposes, right? And let's click next. And now you just have to provide your your Android virtual device name. And here you can even change your name, right? Okay, let me write here Google. And yeah, you can just set up your orientation. You can even change your uh, like, you know, you can pretty much change your DPI level here. You can, okay, so like for example, I have already choose pixel XL, so I don't want to change, like, you know, I want to set up my orientation as portrait and graphics as automatic. Okay, so and you also have some advanced settings like for example, your RAM, if you want to increase your RAM, your virtual machine heap size, you know, internal storage, SD card, you know, everything. You can just have some like advanced settings also here. Okay, so I just want to go for with the default setup, then I finish. Okay, here I am able to create my Pixel XL API 33 virtual device. uh, okay, and I can pretty much also run my virtual device, and let's wait for my virtual device to run. And before that, I want to just go through like some of the fundamentals of Android emulator, like the software development kit components that are installed and how the virtual device fit in. So you have the Android emulator, right? So like this Android emulator is like kind of a virtual device that you create using those the SDK, right? Like Android SDK build tools. The Android SDK Studio uses the build tools to build your app. This process involves, like, you know, your Android Studio using these build tools like SDK build tools to compile, link, and package your app to prepare for the installation on the device. So an Android Studio platform, this is like a kind of a virtual device. Okay, let me go to the project structure. And okay, let me go to the settings here. So I want to show you guys the, okay, let me to show you guys some. Okay, so this is So you can see that Android Studio build tools. Here we have already downloaded this. So what is this SDK build tools? I already told you that these build tools are used to build your app. It involves like compiling, linking, packaging your app to prepare for the installation of the device. So Android Studio build tools is doing all this function of building your app, right? So Android SDK platforms, so there are some SDK platforms, like this is the Android SDK platforms, right? So Android SDK platforms like this refers, for example, we used Android 13 Tiramisu, that is API level 33, as an Android SDK platform. So this is the version of an Android platform that we are using to develop our app. So the platform, it refers to the API level, right? So and what are Android Studio platform tools? So as you can see here, Android Studio platform tools, these are tools which you use ordinary from the command line to interact with and debug your apps. So we will also be using this in the future coming tutorial. So this is Android SDK tools. You don't have this here. Command line tools, platform tools. Okay. And actually Android sticker tools are uh, like which is within your Android Studio in order to encompass certain tasks like virtual device, as you can see here. Okay, let me close here. Android SDK tools are like, for your example here, device manager, SDK manager, you have this SDK manager, or you have this syncing project with the greater files or device manager. So these are all the Android SDK tools which are uh, helping you to develop your applications. Okay, and okay, let me check on. Yeah, what is this Intel x86 emulator accelerator? So if your operating system provides it, this is a feature at the hardware level of your computer, and you'll be prompted to enable, which allows you to the emulator to run more quickly. So it is like pretty much making your emulator much faster. Okay, and finally you have yeah, I think this is okay, guys. So yeah, finally we made it, and we can pretty much now run our application. Pretty much, our application is configured, and you just need to click this button and run your application. So let's run this. I have run my application, and I'm seeing this, that the Gradle build is running in my background. So let's wait for this to finish. Yeah, finally I see that install successfully finished, and this is our first hello first fragment, the first application developed from scratch using the template driven approach. And thank you for having patience and going through my tutorial, and I will be coming up with more tutorials, understanding explaining you about more interesting and amazing concepts in Android development. So if you like it, please follow, subscribe, and comment, and catch you in the next lecture, guys. Thank you.